Does connecting with a higher power really hold the key to spiritual awakening? Welcome to Path of Transformation with Anjali, Chugh. Our program will bring you the tools and techniques needed for transformation on a physical, spiritual, emotional, and psychological level. Now, here's your host, Anjali, Chugh.
Welcome to the show. You're listening to Path of Transformation on Seventh Wave Voice America. Today's show offers you another important tool of transformation, and that is knowing your past life. Life is full of infinite possibilities, infinite number of choices that we could have made, but did not. Things that could have been done, but were not. Dreams that we could have fulfilled, but did not. And future, it's always fluid because of free will. It keeps changing, which means we always have a scope of changing things in the present that haven't served us well in the past. We have a scope of changing ourselves, our lives, our surroundings, and even relationships. There is only one thing, though, for which we don't have a choice, and that is to transform and transcend while there is still time, as that is the ultimate purpose of the soul. There are several ways to achieve the ultimate objective, one of which is learning from our past experiences. Sometimes learning from the past helps a lot in devising the future, and when I say past, I certainly mean past lives as well. We humans have come a long way from hardcore skepticism to open-mindedness and acceptance. Acceptance of the fact that we have lived many lives in the past, and we are in our present lives, what we are in the present lives has a lot to do with what we experienced in our previous incarnations. After all, it's a process of accumulating knowledge consciously or subconsciously in one life and carrying it over to the next one. We're often told that we're not supposed to know our past lives, and that is how it is meant to be. If that would have been true, then what could explain the phenomena of visions that some people have as fragments of past lives coming back to them in their sleep? If it were a forbidden zone, then wouldn't have been there. Why do you think there would have been so many reported, unreported cases of people remembering their past lives without even making an attempt to do so? The only possible explanation for such phenomena looks like is that the soul always remembers what it's supposed to do in the current life and tries its best to fulfill its purpose, making use of the body it occupies. The only problem is that there exists a veil between the conscious and the subconscious mind, and this veil prevents the body to know what the soul knows. In simple terms, it means brain does not want to know what the mind knows. It's as if the information gathered by the brain overpowers the wisdom of the soul, and hence the conflict in our lives. Now, what if the veil drops and we suddenly remember some important events from our past lives? Will it not help us in understanding where things went wrong in the previous lives and what we could do differently in this life? Most importantly, we might even be able to put an end to to certain repeated patterns haunting us in one life after the other, like patterns of abuse, attracting wrong people in our lives, living in financial or emotional deprivation, so on and so forth. I know most of us are seekers, having inquisitive minds, and we have a lot of questions that still remain unanswered. Well, today happens to be a lucky day. Our guest is going to talk about that gray area that for ages remained unexplored. But thanks to the pioneers in this field, the information is no longer inaccessible to us. Our guest is joining us from Colorado. He has spent most of his life teaching and doing Edgar Cayce-style past life readings and health readings since 1977. He founded a nonprofit educational organization called the Self-Actualization and Enlightenment Center, which still has a presence in Denver, Colorado. He has given over 5,000 classes and has done over 8,000 readings till now. He's a teacher of long-term classes on metaphysics, mysticism, and self-awareness. He's currently giving classes throughout the Front Range in Colorado. So, listeners, we have with us here today Robert Blond. Welcome, Robert.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be on your show.
And thank you very much for giving us your valuable time today. Now, first off, Robert, would you please explain to the listeners, since